Hi everyone, I'm Alexia Casale and I'm here today with Louisa Reid, author of the brand new book Wrecked, coming out 3rd of September 2020. So we are going to talk about being a writer. So I wanted to know, Louisa, if you could tell us one thing that you wish you'd known when you were starting out as a writer about the publishing industry, the publishing process, something about that, and one thing that you wish you'd known about the act of writing, the craft of writing.
Ooh, two interesting questions. So I think about the publishing process. I wish I'd known a bit more about marketing, about PR, those kinds of things, which I'm not sure, maybe people presume that writers know how to present themselves to the world, or the ways in which they can do that, or the channels they can go through. But I really didn't. I was incredibly naive, and I had no clue about Twitter, didn't know it existed. When I was first published in 2012, I certainly don't think Twitter was as crazy as it is now, in terms of like the amount of stuff out there that you can find out. There was some, but I didn't really know much about that. My publisher then, Penguin, they did give me some good tips and help on who to follow. But I really wish I'd kind of been involved with that from the start, because I was alone, right? Not alone, but a lone writer, really. I didn't have a gang, I didn't have a group, I didn't have like cheerleading squad of writers. I had my pals, of course, my friends, and they've always supported me. But it's so helpful to have a network, isn't it, of people who will boost you and support you, and you'll do the same for them, of course. So I think that if someone had said to me, oh, why don't you find yourself a tribe, and I think somebody did actually in the end say that to me in about 2014, and it was a lovely fellow writer called Amanda Jennings, and she had a real point. And since I have had that, meeting people like you, for instance, and all my Scooby friends, then that has made a massive difference. So I would say to any writer, find the people in the profession who will support you and advise you and help you, because it matters so much. Do you find that?
Oh, completely. Yes. I think of everything that I've learned, the thing I've learned most is you need other writers to kind of as sounding board, as support, people who are in the same place. So Louise has identified some great places to find that. So Twitter, follow some writers, see who you like, see who's your type of person. Scoobies are the Society of British Children's Writers and Illustrators, if I'm not dyslexic in the order of those words. We're going to drop some links in the description so you can do that. But also writing groups at your local library, at your local school. If there isn't one, why don't you create one? But it's so important to have other people to talk to get feedback, support ideas, all of those things. So brilliant. And how about the act of writing? Because as you say, one of the difficulties is at the end of the day, we're all alone with our laptop, with our notepad. However we're writing, we have to just sit down and do that, and it's very solitary. But what are we doing when we're doing that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. My first book, Black Heart Blue, I finished that by having a writing kind of target, 1,000 words a day, and I think that's what pushed me through doing that. And I know that a lot of people say, "Oh, you don't need to set targets, you don't do anything like that," and of course you don't have to. Nobody has to do anything. But for me, I'm kind of I'm a goal-driven person, so I like it when I can give myself a tick or a pat on the back, say, yes, you did that. And it doesn't always work for me. I go through periods where I don't do anything. Maybe I write 2 words in a day and consider that a miracle. But I've just managed to start myself back on that 1,000 words a day routine. And I am enjoying the kind of focus that gives me. So I think if for writing, in terms of getting the words on the paper, getting the bum on the seat, giving yourself some sort of target is potentially really helpful. I think another thing that I find very helpful is that reading like a writer, you need to, reading like a reader, you need to be able to, at some stage, divorce yourself from your work and be able to look at it as if you've never seen it before and you're in the shoes of somebody experiencing that for the first time. And that's a really tricky thing to do, but it helps me to do that when I get it on my Kindle, or I might print it out onto lots and lots of paper, but with verse that takes up so many pieces of paper. But yeah, that really is another really helpful technique, to just fresh eyes, or leave it for a bit, come back to it, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so one of my friends does that as well. She prints it out in a different font. So some people say that helps to just rejig your brain so you can look at it and you're not seeing what you expect to see versus what's on the page. So other sort of things to push you through, I think there's NaNoWriMo, which is
Oh yeah.
basically about, in November, you write 50,000 words in the month, and you're doing it with a whole bunch of people, and their tools, written chat rooms and support. But yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of editing is actually, a lot of writing is editing, but you can't edit a blank page, as one of my friends told me.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I do have another bad habit sometimes of going back and perfecting what I've done before I go on. And although I like doing that, sometimes it does hold me back. So I think there needs to be a fine balance, and try to be pushing forwards and making progress. Because once you've got the finished thing, then you can make it as good as it can be.
Yeah, so if you don't finish it, you're never going to have one of these. Louisa's beautiful new book, Wrecked, out 3rd of September 2020. That's going to be down in the description links as well. Thank you so much.